I've got 13 awesome tips and tricks for you guys in Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, these aren't just tips and tricks for just new players and stuff like that. We got some for new players and stuff, but the majority of these tips and tricks are things that you should be aware of so that your game will be more fun. A lot of the things I'm going to show you in this video are going to be things where it's better to start on them early, so that way you don't come back later and ask yourself, oh, if only I had been doing this the whole time. Now I can't try this on that. The boss is dead, so now I can't do this to him. Or, oh, what if I would have done things this way or that way? There are a ton of things in this video that I'm going to show you and talk to you about that you should get started on early in order to make the game just way more fun the whole way through for you. The first thing that you're really going to want to do in this game is you're going to want to get all of these sky view towers, because what you can do with these is you can use the glider with these in order to see where things are, to find shrines, to find things you want to go to. And as you get more stamina and things like that, things to restore stamina, it'll give you more accessibility to be able to explore the map. Because without this, going on foot is going to be terrible, at least until you use something that I'll show you later on with one of the other tips in this video. But so now we can just glide around, we can see where the holes in the ground are, we can potentially see shrines when we get close enough to the ground. It's just something you really should do right away if you haven't already. Another thing you really want to do is go to this hole in the ground right here at the Great Plateau. So here's where you start off Lookout Landing. You're just going to go south, and you're going to find this hole right here on the ground. You should definitely grab the Hyrule Field Sky Tower first so you can see it. And then go here, and you're going to dive down into this hole. And at the bottom of this hole will lead you to the depth, which is what all these holes do. And then once you get in here, what you'll be able to do is you can head to the south, which you won't really be able to see very well from here. But you can head to the south, and you'll see over there that giant structure. Well, you're going to go to that giant structure, and it'll do part of a quest. You'll have to fight some boss, so bring some weapons before you do it. And then after you defeat that boss, you'll then have the ability to do auto building, which is something you definitely want to do because it makes everything way better. And it's also going to be something I'm going to use in some of these later tips in this video that'll help you out a ton in this game and make you have way more fun. It's something you really want to do early, because otherwise you may go your whole game without building lots of stuff and you'll regret it. And you may end up playing the game a whole second time just so you can see what it'd be like to build things. Instead, do this right away, and I'm going to teach you how to do all the building and stuff like that, so you can do it throughout your playthrough and have fun the whole way through, and not regret it later not having done it. The next thing that you're really going to want to do is go to the Upland Zorana Skyview Tower up here. Go ahead and get it like we talked about Skyview Towers, or you can get this one over here. The main thing is we want to get to the Maoki Shrine down here. And in order to do that, you could just run there too, but you might as well get these Skyview Towers while you're here. But the main thing is that we can only get to this shrine by entering from the top of that hill. So you're going to want to take a Skyview Tower and then glide there. This one is close enough that even with very low stamina, you may still be able to get there with just gliding. So you see that one hill over there with the weird rock that I'm flying at right now? You see the tip of the glider is like touching it right now, that rock. That's where you need to go. Once you land on this rock or climb up to this point, you're now going to be right here on the map. Okay, so now there's a secret entrance from the top which will take you to this shrine, which is a very important, very, very important thing to do early on, because there's an OP thing we can do if we do this. So you'll go here and you'll grab this shrine. Then you can fast travel here whenever you want, which is going to be the most overpowered thing that you're going to do in this entire game, and it's going to make your game so much more fun. It has for me. It makes it so you can explore the map, because there's an item we can farm from here. So we'll go over here and run out of this cave, and then you'll run over to this. Be careful of that guy to the left. He'll one-tap you early game. Even now he'll one-tap me with 5 hearts. And now you'll fly over here, and there's a spawn of crabs on this shore, and there's a ton of them. And you can come here every hour or two and grab them again and again and again. And the reason that you want to get these crabs is because you can cook them into a stamina restoration food, which will then make everything in your game way more fun. Because the biggest crutch in this game that stops you from having fun and exploring is stamina. You'll find yourself all the time throughout your playthrough where there's somewhere you really want to go, but you can't reach it because you don't have enough energy to climb, or you don't have enough energy to glide there, or whatever it is. There's always going to be issues you run into like that. And if you go ahead and grab these crabs every hour or two, it's like a habit you can do. It's like, okay, it's been an hour or two, you just teleport over here, run back over, grab all the crabs, and just like that, you'll have another 6 full stamina restores. So now what you have to do with them is you'll head back to the Lookout Landing Skyview Tower, or just anywhere that has a pot nearby in order to cook them. But you can go to the lookout landing. That's the one I usually go to for cooking reasons, because you can go here, you can drop in this hole, and then you can go over here and then cook them. And now these crabs, what you do is you just take 2 of them at a time and cook them. You can press X to skip the animation. Gives a full stamina restore. So you just go here and do this every hour or 2, and that will get you enough stamina restores to be able to have way more fun exploring the map during your time playing this game. Which then brings me to another tip that you really want to do sooner rather than later, which is you need to realize something about this game. So the way most items respawn in this game is that they go on a system where every minute there's just a chance random items will respawn. So over time everything respawns. For example, there's no weapons here. So they'll respawn later. And also, Blood Moon sometimes respawns some stuff, but some stuff only respawns, most stuff actually, only respawns as time passes. So keep that in mind when you're playing. So then, you know, you'll know every hour or 2 to go to this shrine, probably ideally every 2 hours, go to the shrine, go grab your crabs. Or you can do another thing, which brings us to our next tip, is every 2 hours or so, you can go back to the NACHOYAH shrine, you can walk out of it and glide down to here and fight the Flux Construct in order to get Zonai charges. And you can do the same thing over here and get more Zonai charges. You can find Flux Constructs and you can fight them every 2 hours or so after they respawn in order to farm not only more Zonai charges, but you can also get the interesting fuse weapon piece that they drop that gives you a big damage boost. Now with our next tip, let's pivot back to building. So with building, you're going to want to know about these. These are device dispensers. And the most common place to find them is in the sky when you see something on your map that looks like this, kind of like a plus sign with a circle part in the middle. These often will be a shrine with a device dispenser next to it, but they're not all like that. There's one here where they're both inside of a giant sphere in the sky, and you'll find these device dispensers, and then you'll know you can go there and spend Zonai charges in order to get whatever parts you want, and that's how you can get things built the first time, and then with auto build you can use Zeonite eventually. Which that in particular is something you really want to do sooner rather than later, or else you're going to regret it big time later on, because you'll have beaten the whole game, and then you'll go look at building, and there'll be nothing fun left to do with it. There's no bosses left to kill, there's nothing left to try to cheese with it or have fun screwing around with. Everything's done, basically. You've done it all, so it'll take the fun out of building. So if you do it early, you'll have way more fun. So what you can do then, once you get those, is you can take them, and you can take out those devices from them, from these Zonai devices that you get from those giant gumball machine-looking things, and you can make things like cars, for example. So I could take that, I could take 4 wheels, and I could take a steering stick, and then I can sit here and assemble it using Ultra Hand, and I can make a car. And then once I have a car, I can then use auto build in order to get it whenever I want. So I can go ahead and stick these on. I'm just going to do a half-ass job real fast just to show you. So you can quickly put things on like this. And then make sure they're facing the correct way because they have a direction they're supposed to go. There's arrows on top. This is not an ideal car, but, you know, this works. Okay. So then we put this on, and then we can jump up here and use the steering stick. And then we have this car that's fast as lightning that we can drive around. That makes it super fun to explore open plains. So there's things that you can do with building that are super, super fun that you really should do now rather than later, because you'll have a ton of fun doing it throughout your whole playthrough if you do. Now also, once you build something like this, we talked about auto build earlier. Now that we've auto build, we can go in here and we can see the things we just made with each step that we put into it. And if we want, we could press Y to set it as a favorite, and then we have all these things that I have as favorites now. And so once we have a favorite like this, we can pick the favorite, and instead we can use Zeonite. Now if we have any parts nearby, it will use them instead, and then it won't use as much as Zeonite. So we can just reassemble it, both the parts that we have, and build it as free, or we can use the Zeonite in order to do it instead. But that's something that's really cool. Later on, we can just use Zeonite to make some simple things. Which brings me to another really, really awesome tip. There's a super, super awesome build that you need to have as one of your favorites. And maybe you saw it in there in my favorites. That is this thing. And it's super, super cheap. It's 2 rockets on the side of a platform, and then you save it as your favorite. And it only uses 9 Zeonite in order to make it. Then what you do is you just jump up on top of it, hit it, and it will elevate you up really high, and then you glide. And this will let you get to areas that you otherwise wouldn't be able to access very easily. And it's super, super fun to have that when exploring, especially when exploring the depths. So I highly recommend having that as an option sooner rather than later. It'll make your game way more fun, in my opinion. The next major tip I have relates to everything we just talked about, which is how do we get those materials? The Zonite. I kept calling it Zeonite for some reason, but Zonite. How do we get more Zonite? How do we get a lot of it? Well, I'm going to be working on a video soon for an actual farming route for it where you can get an insane amount of it really fast. But just to start you off, I have one that's really, really good that you can use in the beginning in order to get a bunch. So what you do is that place I told you to go earlier, if you did it, you'll have the Great Abandoned Central Mine. There you can take a wing and some fans and fly over or just run to this light route right here. And from this light route, we have a bunch of Zonite that we can get every hour or two. Remember, it respawns about every 2 hours or so. And, it respawns periodically. So if you come back in an hour, some of it will be here, some of it won't. So it's generally best just every 2 hours of gameplay, teleport down here to the Koradot light route. Which, by the way, to do the depths, it's up and down on the D-pad to change the elevation of your map. So you press it down twice to go to the depths. You'll go to this light route, and you'll head over here to the west, and you'll jump off down here. And right here is a series of veins that you can mine. There's normally enemies here. I'm not sure why the enemies didn't respawn this time, which is really, really weird. But you can go here and you can break these rocks in order to get Zonite. And also, you'll get large Zonite here, which we'll use in one of the tips I'm going to talk about in a second. But you'll break all these and just do this every 2 hours. And then from there, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go here to the southwest. And you can glide down to here. And then you can go underneath of this. And you can go over to here, and there's some more that spawn right here. So you'll go over here, and you'll break these, and take any of the Zonite that drops. Then you're going to go over here and jump off of this, and glide over to here. And there's 2 that can respawn right here periodically. So you'll get both of those. And then you're going to jump down here to the bottom, and there's some that you can find down here that respawns periodically as well. So just come here every 2 hours, grab all that, and that'll give you enough Zonite in order to build random things with auto build, or to do the next thing that we're going to talk about. So for the next thing, we're going to go to the Great Abandoned Central Mine. And this is somewhere that you want to get very early on, and you want to have it so that when you get that Zonite, especially the large Zonite, you can go over here to this one, and you can buy these with the large Zonite, and you can get crystallized charges with it. And then those large crystallized charges, you can use to upgrade your battery pack. So it's 3 normal Zonite to get 1 crystallized charge, or 3 large Zonite to get 20 crystallized charge. In my opinion, it's best to just use the large Zonite and get the large crystallized charge, and save your small ones for auto build instead. It's just more fun to use the small ones for auto build and just use the large ones for upgrading the battery pack, but you can do it whichever way you want. Now, in order to upgrade the battery pack, you periodically, once you have 100 of it, will want to go back up to the sky and go to the NACHOYAH Shrine. So the NACHOYAH Shrine, there's this person over here, and you can talk to this steward construct, and for 100 crystallized charges, you'll be able to upgrade your battery pack. So I don't have enough right now, but that's how you do it right there. And then you can get more and more charges on your battery pack. Right now you can see I have 6. It eventually goes way higher than that. And that's something that you'll want to do early on in the game, or at least be aware of early on in the game, so you can start, doing it as you go, instead of getting to the very end of the game and then suddenly realizing that, wow, I haven't done any of this, and then you'll have to go out of your way and it's a grind, which is really only a problem because the respawns in this game are so long that, like, not so long, but it's just every hour or two you can go and get the easy ones. So if you don't do any of it and you just come back later, then it'll take forever for you to get it done, basically, because you have to wait for those respawns to happen. So you'll just be grinding for a really long time. Another tip that I have for you that you really should know about, if you didn't already know this, when you're gliding, swimming, or climbing and you're running out of stamina, you can open your inventory while doing this, and you can go to those stamina meals that I talked about, and you can eat them while flying, while swimming, while climbing, which will help you to explore anything you want to explore. And that's another thing that's really important to know about, and it'll make exploring way more fun if you do that. Now for easily repairing your weapons. That's right, you can kind of repair weapons in this game. The easiest, fastest way to do this is to get this shrine, the NATAK Shrine. You can do this by going to the Ulri Mountain Skyview Tower up here at the top right of the map. And then from here, you can fly up in the air and land on this platform right here and build a flying machine with the parts that are there. And then fly it over to this platform where you can get to the NATAK Shrine. Then from the NATAK Shrine, this thing right here defaults to the perfect angle for us to go to a place called Tari Town, where there's a person there that will help us to sort of repair our weapons. So what we can do is from here, we can just fly over here and go down to Tari Town and get our weapons repaired. So the way that weapon repair works in this game is we can pay 20 rupees to have the fused item be removed from the weapon. So if we put a Flux Core 3 on a weapon, we can go here and remove it and then throw away the weapon, say like the stick that we put it on or the sword that we put it on, and then we can put a new sword or whatever item with it. So you can go over here to Tari Town, and there's this baby Goron right here, and you'll talk to this person, and you'll tell them, break it down, and then you can pick a weapon or a shield that you want to disassemble. So in my case, I'm going to disassemble the insane Silver Lionel Reaper that I have, since it's probably getting close to broken already, and I put it on just a basic wooden stick. So we'll go ahead and pull them apart. And after that, which I definitely want to pull apart, I mean, that's like one of the rarest things in the entire game. I definitely don't want that to break. We can grab the old one with whatever, I forgot the name of the ability. Use it, throw it away, or grab it and throw it. And then we can get our item back, in this case, the Silver Lionel Saberhorn. And then I can take a new weapon that I actually want to use, but I don't have any right now that I want to use, and I can put it back on it. And then also, if you don't know how to do it, you can go to materials, and you can hold whatever item, and then press A to drop it. And then you can pick a weapon that you want to fuse with it. I don't have any weapons that aren't already fused, though. But you would take a weapon, you would use fuse, look at it, and then press Y. And then that's how you would recombine it with another weapon like that. And that's where I'm going to wrap it up. This video is probably getting way too long at this point. So hopefully that helped you out, guys. That's a bunch of things I highly, highly recommend doing as you play the game. And it'll make your game way more fun. If you don't do a lot of these things, you'll regret them later on, because you'll complete the game and you'll look back and you'll ask yourself questions like, oh wow, I didn't know I could make a car. What if I had made a car? How would it have been different? I didn't know I could make a tank. What if I had made a tank? How would that one boss fight have been? I didn't know about this. Like, how would it have been otherwise? Like, you'll ask yourself all these questions. If you just know about a lot of the things I showed you in this video and just start doing them early on, it'll make your entire playthrough way more fun. So hopefully it helped you out, guys. Hopefully this stuff will make the game more fun for you. That was my goal. And if the video helped you out or you liked the video, do me a favor and like or subscribe for more content like this. And I will see you guys in the next one.